Okay, welcome to episode 9. The new format for these videos is that I'm going to do a sketch, and all of the responses to the last episode is going to be at the end of this episode. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes, you'll see it sped up anyway, constructing something, a collection of shapes that you can respond to. It's not going to be anything specific, it's just going to be a doodle. You can go and download the file at my Patreon page, which will be linked in the description, and you can collaborate on this project. So like I say, at the end of the video I'm going to show you all the collaborations from the last episode, and you can see all the fantastic results that people have come out with as a result of collaborating on the last drawing. Okay, so the process with this is to not take it to a too finished degree. I could continue to work into this and really kind of solidify what we've got, but then I think it would limit the opportunity for creative input for all my viewers and subscribers. So I'm going to leave it quite loose and quite simple at that point. The file is available for download at my Patreon page. There is a link for that in the description, and there is also a Dropbox link in the description where you can upload the results of whatever you've managed to come up with as well. Okay, so it's time to look at all the pieces of artwork that were sent to me in collaboration from the last episode. So the first piece is from Heidi Owen, and Heidi's got some really colourful, quite sort of trippy, quite kind of dreamlike response to the last episode here. So obviously there's been a rotation of the image to create a symmetrical, almost kind of snowflakey kind of look, maybe some kind of sea creature like, and then that form has been repeated around the canvas. A really vibrant, really colourful, really interesting set of forms and things there. Really do like the way that Heidi's duplicated things, so we've got images in the background and we've got sort of different sizes and different treatments of the forms. I think it all really works successfully. It becomes difficult to ascertain the original forms in there, but that's fine. That's exactly what I want, really, is this to people to play around with it, extend upon the things that I've given to you. Sometimes it's nice to see the original forms in there. Sometimes if it turns into its own thing, then that's what happens with artwork anyway. So I'm very pleased to receive this, Heidi. Thanks so much for your hard work on this. Great piece of work. Okay, the next piece of work is from Tally B, who's taken the drawing from episode 9. I can see the forms that in the center area here. There were 2 gaps in the drawing that I produced, and Tally has placed a couple of eyes in this strange little octopus-like creature. It's not an octopus because it doesn't have 8 legs. Maybe it does have one hidden behind there, I'm not sure. But really quite a cool little creature, little character there. A slightly mischievous little expression in its eyes. It's kind of cute. Nice colour schemes, quite kind of soft focus, which is quite an appealing aspect of it as well. So thanks very much, Tally, for your contribution. Really nice piece of work. Thanks so much. Okay, the next piece of work is from Michael Skiba, who's taken the forms and turned it into something that looks like a close-up on some kind of strange desert-like creature or something. It looks like something taken out of the film Dune. Definitely something quite sci-fi about it anyway. Really nice colours and textures, really expressive. I can see the original form in there really clearly as well, but it's definitely become its own creation. Really a fan of this, Michael. I can see that you put a lot of time and effort into it, and it's a really successful piece of work, so thanks very much for the contribution on this one. Please do keep getting involved in these. Okay, the next piece of work is from Karen Kluner. Karen's contributed quite a few different pieces. Most of the time that Karen's work is quite organic, but she's really gone for the sci-fi route on this particular piece. So obviously we've got some kind of technology, some kind of ship in some kind of cosmic environment. Really colourful, really vibrant, some nice subtle sort of details in there, so it's not all immediately in your face. You have to look a little bit more closely to see some of the subtleties coming out, but really eye-catching at the same time. So that's a lovely piece of work, Karen. Fantastic as always. Thanks so much for contributing. Okay, we've got a piece by Glenys Stott. Glenys always produces some really interesting, really amusing pieces of work, and this is no exception. I can see the form from this strange orange kind of creature that seems to be chasing a character down the path. And at the same time, we've got someone over to the left who seems to be photographing it in the press. Really strange, very surreal, a really imaginative response. Definitely not something I could have predicted from the sketch that I produced, but it definitely made me laugh. So thanks so much, Glenys. Great contribution as ever. Okay, the next contribution is from Stian Riddlen. Now, Stian has contributed a few different pieces of work to this project so far. I think this is possibly my favourite. Now, it's perhaps difficult to see straight away, but when you look at the two forms, they're on either side of the head, then there is a kind of stretched version of the form that I provided. Really, really imaginative use of the forms that I've provided. I love the way that Stian has actually applied that to something quite different. Absolutely gorgeous treatment of the drawing. I love all the kind of cross-hatching, fine sort of pencil work, and a lovely kind of aged document kind of background as well. Something really haunting. Well, obviously it's not got the detail of the eyes, it's quite zombie-like. But even aside from that, there's something really regal and beautiful about the portrait on this one. Massive fan of this, Stian. Such a fantastic piece of work. Thanks so much for sending it in. Okay, the next piece of work is from Anita Marian. This is really beautiful as well. It definitely reminds me of kind of orchids. I love the way that she's used sort of speckled brushes on this and also created layers of focus. So we've got the foreground part of it sharply in focus, and everything else is getting more and more blurred as we go off into the distance. Really creates a dynamic perspective through the piece. Really a fan of this, Anita, so excellent piece of work. Please do keep contributing because this is really awesome. Okay, this piece of work is from Andy Gradeville. I can't quite see how the form has contributed to this, but that's absolutely fine. Sometimes that's what happens. So when you're given a form, you can amend it and amend it and amend it, and then it takes on a life of its own and it becomes its own beast. And I have to say, this is a really fantastic piece of work. Definitely something quite kind of Star Wars about it. It reminds me of some of the kind of crashed spaceships that are in, say, The Force Awakens, something like that. Definitely appeals to my sensibilities. And he's obviously been looking at my landscape tutorials and taking some lessons as well. And there's a really successful landscape, as well as some really interesting sort of mecha details in the foreground as well. So a beautiful balance of the two different elements there. Big fan of this piece of work, Andy, so thanks so much for sending that in. Okay, another really vibrant, colourful piece of work from Andre Peters. Andre is sending several pieces of work to this project so far, and this is perhaps one of my favourite from Andre. Really colourful, really vibrant. Again, another little kind of squid or octopus type creature. It seems to be perhaps being attacked by a kind of whale-like creature at the top, I'm not sure. But aside from that, just the colour combinations and the kind of composition, I really, really appreciate this piece of work. There's lots going off in it, actually. The more you look at it, the more you see interesting kind of details on it. Well done, Andre. I think this is your best so far, so thanks so much for contributing that piece. Okay, so that's all of the contributions for this episode. Please do download the drawing from this episode and get involved, and I can't wait to see what everyone manages to come up with. It's always fascinating to see the different interpretations, and yet again, can't wait to see what people come up with. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share these videos, and I'll catch you back here again.